Why does coding work? I have a basic understanding on how coding works per se, but I don't understand why it works. How is the computer able to understand the code? How does it know that if I write something it means for it to do said thing? Edit. Typo. On a fundamental level, a computer processor is just an electrical circuit that has multiple functions that when used together really fast can do any imaginable logical operation. It's connected to a bunch of wires called the main bus that can either carry a current, 1, or not carry a current, 0. It's hard-wired such that when different sequences of ones and zeros are given, it activates the different functions of the processor. The processor is able to contain individual circuits that do these functions, and that are activated only when the right sequence of main bus wires are in the 1 state. These sequences of ones and zeros are given to the processor by memory, the RAM as it's usually called. This memory stores long sequences of commands, which include conditionals which tell the processor essentially, run this code if this condition is met, otherwise run that code instead, or commands to add 2 numbers in memory and write the result to some other part in memory, or commands that listen for input from a keyboard or mouse, or commands to send information to a display or speaker. Stuff like that. You can string these commands together to say something like, if the spacebar is pressed, play a sound. Otherwise, do nothing. The processor will then do exactly that. These sequences of commands, called assembly language, are pretty hard for any human to understand and work with though. I have oversimplified them pretty massively here. That's why we have compilers. A compiler is basically a computer program that takes a series of commands written in a more human-readable programming language and converts it into assembly language. This is how almost all programming languages work. They are sequences of instructions that tell a compiler how to generate assembly language commands that can be sent to a processor to make it do things. Although the things that processors do are very basic, they are designed to do those things incredibly fast, running hundreds of millions of instructions in a second. There is a concept in computing theory called Turing completeness. Basically it's the idea that a finite and in fact very small set of commands are capable of coming together to form literally any conceivable logical operation. Computers work on these principles. They can do any logical operation given enough commands, and they can crunch through those commands at absurd speeds. Coding is just the practice of writing those commands, whether it be directly or with the help of a compiler.